Hi. Oh, let's get it right, shall we? Hi, guys. YouTube Part 1 requirement. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I still haven't brought the notification bell up. And everything else that YouTube requires. Now we've got that out of the way. Patreon, this is second video. The last one sort of wiffle waffle about, I can't remember now. This one, look, we're actually going ahead and we're starting the process. This one is about how we're going to, partly on how we're going to spend the money. It's one of, likely to be several on how we're going to spend the money. We're starting with lighting, and I do have some lighting, and I have some lighting to show you. First, we have this poor little beast that doesn't light. It's in need of restoration, right? This is a 500 watt cyc light from, I can never remember, Lee Colortran International. It's actually made in England. Interesting piece of kit. Quite an interesting piece of kit. The reflector on it is not symmetrical, so it's not an even illumination. If you think of the beam in the vertical plane, it's brighter at the bottom than at the top, so it can cope for a long throw and provide an even illumination on the cyc. That's what it's there for. A cyclorama for the non-theatre minded. Big sheet at the back of the stage. Next one. This is something that some of you may recognise. Miles of cable. This is commonly known as a redhead. It's an 800 watt open faced 4-leaf barn doors. See how hold out, and it's open faced. Actually, there's a safety glass in there. That's so that when the lamp explodes, it doesn't sort of shower your turns and cause them to squeal and sue you. Immensely bright, nice and warm. We also have the ARRI version, the ARRI Light 800, which is basically the same thing, only in blue, and to be honest, I think slightly better built. These things are worth their weight in gold. They're very difficult to get hold of now. We also have, he reaches down, a birdie. Wrong birdie. Plays the guitar. Birdie, this is one of my most commonly used ones. This is one that, excuse me, feathers are molting. It's basically what do we call it? It's a par 16 can. It's a tiny little par can. It takes little par 16 lamps. I've got 3 of these now. The low voltage, they run off 12 volt, hence the XLR connector, but what else can we use? It's alright till you plug them into a microphone input or something, and then strange things might happen. I've got 2. The one where you normally see me, it's just my head and everything else is black, and there's pretty lights in the background and not all the rubbish that you can see over there. These are really useful. Again, these are tungsten halogen. One is, I've got a 35 watt bulb in one and a 50 watt bulb in the other. I can't remember which way round they are, but you've seen the effect of these quite a lot. We also have there a 22-inch beauty dish, which I reckon is probably mid-60s. It's a big wok that's painted white with a 500 watt light bulb shoved in it. I've got 2 of those. We think they were homemade, or we think the stands were homemade, because they don't collapse particularly well. It's a good job I've got as an estate car, because it wouldn't fit in anything else. It's getting difficult to get lamps for those, and if you can, they're quite expensive for what they are, which is basically an oversized domestic light bulb. If we want to move into the modern era, I've got some sun floods as well, but everyone knows what sun floods look like. I've got three 500 watt and a 150 watt. If we want to move into the modern era, we've got to start looking at LED. Now, there is a upside and a downside. I'm going to do the downside first, because I prefer tungsten. And the reason I prefer tungsten is the colour rendering on tungsten is the same as daylight. Downside of tungsten, the colour temperature isn't the same as daylight, it's a lot lower. So if you start mixing tungsten and daylight and you colour balance for the tungsten, everything lit in daylight turns blue, and if you colour balance for the daylight, everything lit in the tungsten turns sort of orange. Can be useful for effects. We have actually used it and I don't know if anyone's noticed. The good thing with LEDs is that you can tune them. A good LED fixture, you can tune the colour temperature from usually around 3000K up to about 5600, which is a good daylight, and without losing intensity or without changing the intensity very much. Another good thing about LED is that they are dimmable. Again, a good LED will dim from 0, or actually it doesn't build, it builds from 0 up to 100% without any flicker. There's very high speed switching going on there, and without changing color temperature. If you start dimming these, they become more orange. The LED doesn't, it holds its color temperature. Now if you have the time, and I recommend you do, look up Media Division on YouTube. It's a channel, I think the guy's German. It's an amazing channel, right? One of the things they do is they look at lighting. They also look at how we can, camera lenses and all the sort of stuff that you dream of having but can't afford. It's a fantastic channel. And one of the things that they did, or one of the programs, I suppose, they did was to look at lighting on a budget. And he introduced me to a company called Zoonwell. Soonwell, sorry, not Zoonwell, Soonwell, S-O-O-N well. And one of their bits of kit, which is a rather nice LED panel that's 12 inches by 24. It's a foot by 2 foot LED panel, which looked really nice. It was infinitely dimmable. Well, it's not because it's digital, but and the colour, full range of colour temperatures, and it was flexible, so you could roll it into a tube and stick it somewhere and almost use it as a very effective practical. The light output on it for the power is absolutely amazing. This thing's chucking out heat, which is why I'm using it, because it's cold. LED I'll just have to freeze because most of it's coming out as light. Wonderful device, nice and soft. I thought it would look good to just stick it on the wall there most of the time. What more could we want? Money to pay for it. Okay, how much is it? I don't know. I could probably tell you in US dollars if I looked. Can't find them. So I started looking at other alternatives, and we found a company called Falcon Eyes, who produce same stuff but slightly different because of copyrights and patents and things. And they came up with a panel that's 2 foot by about 16-18 inches. I haven't actually worked it out exactly. And that is a very similar price to the Soonwell one. And it's available sometimes, it seems. Amazing a range of LED lighting. But LED lighting is expensive. Good quality LED lighting is hideously expensive. So I'm going to stop making you look at me whilst I rabbit on and look at the monitor instead of the camera lens and all the other faults that we have. And we're going to use that magic software I've got on the computer, and we're going to have a crash around on the internet and see what we can find and look at the prices. Some of the stuff we find will be really exciting and I want one, and yet criminally expensive. So we're not having one because actually I've got no use for it, but it doesn't usually stop us, does it? And we will look at the prices. We will look at the really cheap end, and I'll mention things about why it's just not worth it. So I'll see you all again very soon, in a minute. Okay, so we're back now, and we've got the computer working and it's recording and all that clever stuff that I don't understand. Let's get the silliness over with first, shall we? There we are, Arri Max 1812. That's an HMI open face par, bit like the Redhead, only Arri, and a heck of a lot bigger. And that uses 12 or 18 kilowatt HMI lamps, and I would love one, but the price is absolutely horrendous. 22.8 inch diameter parabolic reflector, huge amount of light. Great if you've got a town square to light at night. Keep me warm in here, but probably by burning the house down. So, okay, right, enough silliness. Let's go and find something a little bit more useful. And here we are shopping for the Zoonwell, I can't say it, I don't know. We look along here, we find various prices. That's not even the right thing. That's a Falcon Eyes. That's interesting. Newer Zoonwell. Here we are. £412 on eBay, if you can get one. Amazon UK, here we are. We'll look on there and we find, not now. Here we are. Here's one, £349. Can we do better? We probably can. The problem is, when you actually start digging around, you tend to find that they're not really available. No Zoonwell. The Zoonwell website links, of course, directly to Amazon, and it's not English Amazon, it's Amazon somewhere else, and they don't have anything. So we had to give up on that, but this is all ridiculously overpriced. Oh look, here's one, Zoonwell.com project page. So we'll look there. There we are, add to cart, but that's in dollars because it's American. Comes with, I don't think it actually comes with a stand, but it comes with just about everything else you can see there, including the softbox and egg crate. That's rather useful. The almost exact copy is this one. That's the Falcon Eyes one. We will search that. Just one moment, please. And here we are, straight into a UK supplier who has this rather wonderful device. And look at it, out of stock. What are we to do with out of stock? It wasn't out of stock yesterday when I checked it, or it might have been. I might have checked a different one. But notice the normal price is only £300, including VAT. That's come down. That's slightly interesting in that the price has come down overnight. We can have a look and see what they might have that that we would be interested in. Yeah, okay. We'll go to Falcon Eyes. Oh, lots of stuff. Bicolour 50 watt, that's a bit small. 300 watt, that's a bit large and expensive. Some of these panels are like this one here. Are 2,000 quid, £2,200. Here we have, oh look, you see 2,800K is about candlelight. That could actually be really useful, but it's £768. So every day these sites change. What's available changes, and that's just a little bit worrying. That's an RGB version, which is a bit more expensive. That could be quite fun. If you hang on, I'll see if I can find a price for the right thing. Okay, look, we'll come back to this page. This is the right thing, and you get a free lantern dome with it, which is this bit here. You can see it's sort of just a dome-shaped bit of diffuser, it's free, so that's a reason to have it. It could be quite useful to generate a really soft light in a room, particularly if you're lighting from above, so that it emulates something approaching a soft light in your living room. It says awaiting stock, so this product is on order, we're waiting from our supplier, completely blah 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 blah, and all sorts of rubbish. But yeah, I will fill in that later so we can find out when they're in stock. But £300 including VAT. That's quite a lot. It's noticeably bigger than the Soonwell version as well. Good starting point, I think. 4.6 out of 5 reviews. Generally, they're getting good reviews. These are not the best in the world, but the best in the world, you can add another 0 to the price. We can't go down that route. Don't forget that we're looking at doing this on Patreon. We're spending other people's money. We want to get the very best bang for the buck. So we want to keep the price down and get the quality as high as we can at that sort of price. So if we just nip back a bit. Oh, okay. One moment. We haven't had a go at Amazon, but we've sort of said, ouch. I thought we'd look at eBay. And the things to avoid are things like this, which, just look at the price first. It's £45.99. And yet when we look at other brands and we see the same thing for, £200, you think, what's the difference? And the difference is the quality of the LEDs for one thing, and the control systems in them. Some of the cheap ones, £14. You might not actually get a lot of light out of that. It's okay for sticking on top of your camera to video your kids at Christmas to show Auntie Mabel, but if you're trying to produce a high quality product that's going to compete with the higher end of YouTube, that might not work so well. Having said that, if you get one in your Christmas stocking, don't bin it. You'll find a use for it. Be imaginative. It doesn't have to be used the way it says on the tin. But you see, look at these prices. They're all very low. And yeah, I've played with something similar to this. Probably not that one. The light output, if you're more than 6 feet away, forget it. They don't produce that much light. The cheap things tend to be not that powerful. That's slightly interesting because they are not bad. Again, that's £25 is second hand, or sorry, pre-owned, or even pre-loved. But we'll have a look at this one. Here we are. Post from United Kingdom. It's located in London. Hover to zoom. Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought it was. It comes with a stand. Don't expect the stand to be the world's best quality either. I think these are able to work off Sony batteries, which could be useful. Yes, they are. Yes, these are the ones that I've used. The light output, if you stare at them, it looks impressive because it leaves you with purple dots in front of your eyes. But again, they are close working. They don't throw much light over a distance. And this is a common problem actually with LED. For some reason, LED light does not penetrate. Partly because it's a composite light, so it doesn't contain all the frequencies that daylight or tungsten does. It's getting a lot better. It's hugely better than when I first started looking at LED. And yeah, I guess that's a Chinese company. But yeah, for 25 quid, I'll come back to that. I might watch this item. Odd thing that we found on eBay at a good price that might be worth having. That doesn't look too badly built, but I wonder how good it really is. The ring lights, there are so many about now. I saw ring lights in Home Bargains the other day, which were cheap. The build quality, that went out on display, so we had a little squeeze of the plastic. The build quality is probably not that hot. In fact, it's pretty dreadful, but what would you expect for 9 quid? I think that included stand. It's okay if you're going to just use it for just you doing your makeup demos. Probably okay. Make no guarantees on the colour rendition whatsoever. What can we find down here? Newer. I've had some newer stuff before. Not lighting, but okay, we'll have a look. It's I've had their stuff before, and I've been reasonably impressed with it actually for the price. It's tabletop. Anything that's tabletop, I don't go a bundle on. You can get tents if you want to photograph stuff on the table. And here we have a ring light, which is £14.89. It's dimmable. What the quality of the dimming is like, I don't know. Long service life, more than 50,000 hours. Yeah, well, you can actually get around that as well. You can extend that. It doesn't give a colour rendering, does it? Oh, yes, it does. It says greater than 83. I won't settle for anything less than 95. And even then, I've got a feeling I'm going to be disappointed. Claims that 5 watt is equivalent to 40 watt incandescent, which it's right LEDs, it probably is actually. 40 watts of tungsten isn't a lot. As we saw earlier, 800 watt of tungsten is a lot. Aputure is a good make. Newer, lighting wise, we are a bit dubious about. Want to see somebody else's and play with that first. This is the pocket light, which we've just seen on the listings, is the listing for it. This actually, if we scroll down, because I have done, it looks quite good. Type LED, obviously, power source batteries, wattage of 12 watt. That scares me quite a lot, thinking, how many AA or AAA batteries do you have to put in there for it to last more than a few seconds? USB charging port, so it's got a built-in battery. So that'll be a lithium-ion battery and the proper circuitry to drive it. So actually, that's not so bad. Battery capacity 7.4 volts, 3,000 milliamp hour. If it is 3,000 milliamp hour, then that's actually 3 amp hour, which 12 watt 7 volt isn't a lot. You're going to get a good couple of hours. Should get a good couple of hours. He says, juggling numbers in his head out of that. And there's some pictures of it, and that's apparently what you can do with it. It's the adjustable colour temperature right through the range. Hopefully you can see the change in tint, and stepless dimming from quite dark up to quite bright. If that is as good as it says, and it looks to be well built, that might well be a good buy, but don't expect to light a room with it. Again, if you get one in your Christmas stocking, it's 60 quid, mind. If you get one in your Christmas stocking, you don't say, oh, load of rubbish, and throw it out. It's probably not a load of rubbish. It's probably quite a useful tool, but for the right job. And if it's the one with the built-in effects, you can always stick it behind somewhere and do things to your background with it. Wherever you need a small light source to fit on the set, just to lift that area, these things are brilliant. Anyway, we've had a look at what's on eBay. We've had a look at what I would like and why I would like it. You remember the Arri light we looked at as the height of silliness? We're now going to go to the LED height of silliness. And here it is, look. This is 7,879 Hong Kong dollars. It's an LED Fresnel. The total power output I'm trying to find from it, they are claiming 300 watt, and they're claiming that is equivalent to 4,000 watt of quartz, which is tungsten halogen. I want one of those. I don't know what 7,879 Hong Kong dollars is, but I will find out for you. Stay watching this bit. I've done the conversion. That little baby is £762 today at the exchange rate I just tried. That could change quite rapidly. I don't reckon that's actually, no, I don't reckon at all. I think that's disgustingly high priced. But then at this end of the scale, everything is disgustingly high priced. So it's the lower end of disgustingly high priced. I think 200 quid is enough for that, but you ain't going to get one for 200 quid. And that is one of the problems. But as soon as you move above the toy low-end consumer range up to £100 or so, the price just rolls up exponentially. It's horrendous. It's diminishing returns, certainly. You pay twice as much for something, you don't get twice the quality or twice the power. And so it goes on. It's sad, but, you know, if some generous anonymous benefactor wants to buy me one of those, I would be ever so grateful. What I would use it for, I have absolutely no idea. CRI look here, if I can highlight it, there we are. CRI of 95 plus, colour temperature 8,000. You know, there we are, Northern Light just after the sun's gone down, 3,000 to 8,000 K. That's Kelvin, and they're not degrees, it's just Kelvin. Built-in silent fan, well, that we don't know. It'd be very disappointing if it wasn't. Okay. That's it. That's gone from very, 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 very silly to reasonably sensible. I feel reasonably sensible, to the cheaper end, bit of a lottery. Chances are you'll lose, but you might get an absolute bargain. Look for reputed brands. Back to LED type silliness, certainly when it comes to price, although actually less than £1,000 does surprise me. I expected it to be more than that. To what else you could be looking at in the future? The thing with the mats is that they are easy to use. The thing with the Fresnels, you do have to have a certain amount of artistic flair and know how to get the best out of any spotlight. Right, so that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? We've discussed what we'd want and why we would want it. We've then looked at what's available on the market. We've gone from the extreme of the Arri Max 1218 or 1812, whichever way around it goes. Yeah, I would love one, but can't afford it. Can't afford the lamps, can't afford the electricity, can't afford to burn the house down. Nowhere to put the huge beastie. We've then gone to the more sensible stuff for YouTubers of LED panels and things like that, and finished up with the, well, not the ultimate silliness, but a bit of silliness in the LED Fresnel. We've also mentioned the cheaper end of the market on eBay and other places, and that while possibly being useful, probably not your first port of call. If you get one in your Christmas stocking, fine. You know, don't throw it out immediately. You can either send it to me, I'll take it apart and show you exactly what's wrong with the inside, or you find a use for it. You use your imagination. There is a use for any light source, and that includes candles. That's it for now. Drive carefully, dear, and we'll see you all again soon, hopefully.